Oh, what's going on? So I finally got baby back. First time being on her since I fell off her ass. I gotta tell you, I'm a little bit nervous. I'm almost a little scared of her. I gotta get over that pussy shit though. Dude, it wasn't even that bad of a spiel, honestly. Like, you know, it was a fucking boo-boo. Like, I fell down at 15 miles an hour, who gives a shit? But it's like it's fucking haunting. Every time I gotta switch lanes, I'm like, oh God, is that lip big? Like, I'm fucking scared of that pussy shit. That's gotta go away, man. I can't ride like a bitch the rest of my life because I had an accident one time. Gotta find a way to shake that. Either way, we're smooth sailing now, man, on the interstate, just cruising. So let's talk some shit. I'll tell you a little story I just heard. I'm kind of surprised I didn't know it. And a lot of y'all ain't never gonna know nothing about it either, I bet. But it's kind of surprising, like it sounds like we all should, really. I mean, if you're an American, it sounds like you should, but I've never heard of the shit. Either way, I was listening to this show, man, it's called Radio Lab. It's an awesome ass show, but they don't need my plug. They're way bigger than I am. If you check them out, they got a podcast, talk a lot of science, different things, awesome show. Either way, they're doing one called Fugo, or Yu-Gi-Oh! And it's about, back in World War II, when we was at war with Japan, we had these things called Doolittle raids. And they weren't very destructive raids, they weren't very effective, we weren't doing a lot of damage. But we flew these things like right over the capital, the embassy of Japan. And so as a result, it's like, it kind of put a little psychological terror in them, like, son of a bitch, they can hit us anywhere. Like, they just flew right over our capital. There's nothing they can't do. They can bomb us wherever they want to bomb us. And that fear kind of got Japan set off. We've got to be able to pay that back. We've got to be able to return that favor. If they can hit us on our homeland, we've got to be able to drop bombs on their homeland. So they immediately began trying to research ways to do that. And it wasn't as easy as what we had. They didn't have a way to get their planes over our country. They didn't have aircraft carriers to get in position. So they couldn't really drop it the way we were. They couldn't just fly over and bomb us. That wasn't feasible for them. So they had to come up with another idea. Well, the idea they had come up with is they had wind currents in their favor. Pretty much they could, if you put something airborne from Japan, the air currents would carry it to America in like a couple days' time. So they devised this idea of taking these bombs and hooking them up to helium balloons and then floating their ass across the ocean, and they would, you know, just let nature bring them over, and then they hooked up a little mechanism to drop the bomb, and it would drop over America. There's no way to aim it, but it would randomly fall on our soil somewhere, and they could bomb us. And it's almost better because we would see nothing. We'd see no planes. How the hell are they dropping bombs on us, kind of deal. The whole mystery, it really should cause some panic. But if they just sent these helium balloons up, come nighttime it would get too cold, the helium would contract and it would sink. They wouldn't make it in time. So they hooked up these sandbags to the balloons, and pretty much, you know, we'd put enough helium to lift it up in these sandbags, and it would go up carrying this bomb. And then nighttime would come and it would drop down. And it had a mechanism set up to like 30,000 feet. A sandbag would fall off. So it would drop down, but then a sandbag would drop off, and that would float it back up because it lost some weight. And then it would get to the next day. And then it would repeat this series over and over until all the sandbags had broke off. And then the bomb was on the same basic kind of timer. It's just the last to go, pretty much. So now this thing's floating across the ocean, and it gets low, a sandbag drops off, it floats back up. Then it gets low, a sandbag drops off, it floats back up. And then it should be over America, but it's floating, it's still too high. But this last time when it drops the bomb instead of a sandbag. The bomb's the last to go. It's basically like a little timed out system. It's going to drop 2-3 sandbags, then the last drop's going to be the bomb. It's going to fall down, hit Earth and explode, and they're going to find a way to bomb us doing this. And the shit was working. They dropped some bombs on us over here, but none of them was doing any damage. It's just falling in remote areas, falling in forests, shit like that. It's getting reported. Some people saying, you know, we're seeing these damn balloons like shape, a circle shape, and then there's these loud noises that are popping. Something's not working out right. They don't know what it is. It's some kind of unidentified flying thing. Is it a UFO? What the fuck is it? We don't know, but they're reporting it. The Navy's putting out, like, basically, find us one of these. Find out what the hell this is, report it to us. And some former dude ended up catching one. Like, he found the damn thing floating around with the bomb still on it. It hadn't dropped yet. He found a way to catch it and secure it, called the Navy. They came and got it. And they found out it's a Japanese-made bomb. But I don't know how the hell it got over here on a balloon like that, you know. And anyway, they found some sandbags. Eventually, they tested the sand, found out it had to be coming from these two little islands that are Japanese-controlled, and they figured the whole fucking thing out. But yeah, Japan are floating these damn bombs over, and this ain't no conspiracy shit. Like, this is, you can look it up at this point. It's all, you know, you can find information on it. It's called Yu-Gi-Oh! Japanese bombing thing. They found a way using the air currents to drop bombs on us. It's fucking nuts. Cool ass little story I heard about. Just the way they did it. It didn't bother anybody. All of them was ineffective, except for one. And it was a couple, if I'm not mistaken, it was a couple years after that work, after they started doing that. I don't know if the war was still going on. Oh yeah, the war had to still be going on because we were still using concentration camps for Japanese at the time. But either way, it's you know, whatever. The little prison camps we had set up for Japanese Americans. So there was one they found. It was some kind of little picnic field day this couple was taking as a preacher, his wife, and some of the Sunday school kids, like 5 kids, were out taking a picnic area, and they found one of these bombs. And I don't know if one of the kids touched it. I don't know what happened, but the bomb went off. The preacher wasn't out there. He was at the car getting some stuff out, heard the noise, turned around, and that bomb went off, killed all 5 kids and his wife. That was really the only casualty from it. And it ended up having the effect the Japanese wanted. The Japanese did this mainly because of the same reason the Doolittle raids got them. It was just the fear of it, like how damn they can bomb us. Let's put that same fear into them. But we weren't reporting it. We put a cease on all media. Can't report it. Don't talk about it. The media honored it. And so there's no reports going on about these bombs. Even when they go off, everybody's shutting the hell up about it. So it's not getting the desired effect. It's getting no media coverage. But in this town, it did come out what that bomb was. And so the town got panicky about it, to the point of this Japanese lady was getting escorted through town. And she was asking for water and for help. And the town just started stoning the shit out of her. Everybody started throwing rocks at her, and she didn't, you know, they didn't kill her with it, but like the whole neighborhood just started chunking rocks at her, wouldn't help her as she was getting escorted through. Kind of ridiculous. But it's just because what we was talking about, just they knew it got reported the Japanese bomb had killed those 5 people, and the town had kind of got erratic, you know, irrational, just freaking out a little bit. But that bomb was the only one that had done any damage. And so when the 911 respondents got there, the emergency responders, the preacher was out there like actually with his bare hands trying to put the fire out on his wife. Like his wife had caught fire from the bomb, and he's slapping at her trying to put it out. Pretty crazy story. So Japan released 9,000 of these bombs, and they estimated probably about 900 of them actually worked. The other ones probably fell into the ocean, things like that. 900 probably made it onto land, and they can account for about 300 of them. So it's like 600, they still don't know where the hell they're at. And over the next couple of years after the war, they found a couple dozen. just different places laying in the dirt, deactivated. Some of them were still alive. Some of them were just dead, just duds. But they found the last one was like in the northwest of America, in some little in the woods out there. I can't remember exactly where. They found another one. That was as early as like 2014. They found one. So they're still out there. This one was still alive. But they brought in, you know, I don't know who, the bomb squad deactivated it. It didn't go off. They contained it. But that was in 2014. They still found one of these damn things out on a hiking trail. So they're still out there. They're still out and about. Out. Either way, man, first time on the bike, had a cool little story to tell. I wanted to share it with y'all. Hey, thanks for watching, man. See ya.